I just received this from Virtuoso, which is the new Verts deck, so I'm going to crack into that now. Probably don't need to save this since I'm not planning on returning it. I'll save the bubble wrap for a stress reliever. Awesome. Little thank you for your purchase note. So, the wraparound tuck box. I'm not going to spend forever on this. Made in the USA, distributed by the Verts. This is the spring summer deck. So you can see there's no seal as they try to make the deck so that it doesn't have anything sticky on the end, no residue. So I'm going to try to break it at that crease there, which so that way I can keep the plastic around the tuck box. I've started doing that more, and I don't know, maybe it has some bearing on how long the box looks good, I've noticed. So the box has a very real feel, like a good thick cardstock. And then the deck itself, greeted by the Ace of Spades, right there. These very fun colors, spring summer for good reason. Really has that feel. All the individually designed face cards. I'm just going to quick take a look at every card. It's nice feel to the pips as well, with just a little different variation there. So a little more asymmetrical, but although technically this would be absolutely symmetrical, but with that diagonal feel. So very nice. And really bright but minimalistic colors. So and then on the top, there's the back, which is of course the highlight of this deck designed for card flourishing. So these cards, information about them, no Joker, which I wouldn't be surprised if I'll kind of miss that a little bit. So there's that, which I assume they thought was worthwhile. It looks cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I know they're very, proud of the different sort of thinking behind this deck, and that's why they wanted to include these information cards. But most people buying them already know that, so kind of interesting. But that's what they've done. Now the back design here. Those two tones, bringing out every card. That with one fan, all the reds with the other. Let's see, a one-handed fan. It really does look really good. And pirouette, you can even see that the circle in the middle starting, if I do it well, to get isolated. So it's almost that little circle just floats for a good pirouette. But I'm not a card flourisher, I'm a magician, and I just do a couple card flourishes. But and then the dot in the middle also making each of these cards stand out more. Really, really good looking. As far as my thoughts on the cards, they really do look awesome. I did not get any of the other kinds of Verts decks. It's kind of nice to have a deck with a little different color palette than you'll see a lot, but I think for my aesthetic, I probably would have liked the first run with the red and red-black colors. That being said, this is really awesome, and let's see if I can get these. This is really, really stunning in a way, and it's really bright, and you feel like it's a little more non-traditional because of these colors. And if you're somebody with a huge deck collection, you have a ton of different colors, this may not be as big a deal to you. I really do love the look of these court cards. I love non-bordered court cards. I've always been a fan of that. In a way, some of the ones that aren't bordered often have more of a flowing design, but these ones still feel very, very dark, very squared, very symmetrical in that way, so that they still sort of have that sense of very at rest with the cards. I love the ace. I mean, why not make the ace pip that big? Just like, why not? And this is a beautiful V. Just really lovely typography there. So, the Adeptus aesthetic, it really does work. Alright, you know, if you're going to do one-handed fans, you're going to see the difference. The finish is, of course, great. They're kind of a nice marriage between thin stock and thick stock, because I know thin stock is sort of coming a little more in, whereas the thick was bigger back in, 5 to 10 years ago. That was, everything was thick as could be. So this is a nice balance between the two, I think. But they cut great, they feel good, spring well and everything. It's designed, I mean, it's a finish they like. And you really feel the spring, that last second of spring. That's where some cards will lag behind, even though most of them are about the same in the middle. They just jump right out of your hands. Really interesting. I can't lapel spread, but if I could, I mean, it's there. So that's really nice. So I used the deck for a little bit. I got a chance to perform some magic with it, and the sides a little bit, and maybe this just is because of the fact that this is just the first time using it, but because of the thinner stock, I'm just hoping that they don't stay warped. Maybe it'll just take a little while just to sort of get into the cards a little more. But overall, just love the design, and I think one thing about this deck is you'll see like different looking decks, and they'll be very practice oriented in a way. This deck, however, because it has the simplicity, and because the cards register as these look like playing cards at their core, like in the way that people see bikes and they say this is playing cards, whereas some novelty decks, they're just, it takes a second, to say, oh, people see that they're playing cards, but they just look weird. These feel very, very performance-based in a way. And a lot of that, it's not a deck that you're just supposed to keep, around the house. It's one that's meant to be used in real settings. I really like the design. I think they should have included jokers, because they consolidated that information down. Even though I think it's a cool philosophy behind the cards. But, so those are my thoughts. Really awesome deck. I really do love the tuck box too, and I think they don't think they missed any details. And the thing is, if you're going to do a minimalist deck like this, you have to absolutely ace, you have to get all the details exactly right. You have to get them all perfectly. That's the hard part about minimalism. There's no hiding what you're doing. So every detail here has to be exact. And I think they really have done that and accomplished that with their aesthetic. Good looking deck, and I like it. Thanks for watching.